Hi there, Nick Rayball here. This is the first video I've done for quite a while, so I'm going to be a bit rusty, so I'm just going to put the disclaimer that this is going to be about an hour long, probably, and I am going to make mistakes because I don't have a script. This isn't scripted, and it's the first video I've made for a long time, so I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to go over it and go, oh, I wish I hadn't said that, it's a mistake. So there's going to be mistakes. Okay, we've got that covered. Um, I'd much rather be talking about what you can see here, which is a glimpse at the S-World.org homepage, which you can't actually see unless you have a login, and no one has the code to log in. So if you can hack in, good for you. If you've taken the time to hack in, you may as well just contact me and speak to me. This is the crown jewels of everything I've done. S-World Algorithms is the pinnacle page. This is just the index to it. Work from 2011 to 2013. Then 2013 to 2022. We're going to be talking a bit about this. 2016 to 2018, A More Creative Capitalism. Name from Bill Gates' 2007 Harvard speech. Then S-Res in the city. This, I thought it was a way to increase the money supply, but technically it's not. It's a way to increase the production supply. It's a growth mechanism. And there's a lot to it, but this isn't a video about that. This is a video about what matters. And John Doerr, American venture capitalist, so says Google, which he is, but he's also just brilliant. His book, Measure What Matters, is we're going to be looking at a system I created based on this book and his follow-up book, Speed and Scale, which is the same thing but applied specifically to climate change. Brilliant book, especially if you're a big fan of the first one. This is the recipient, whatmatters.com. So let's go straight in to, this is what I call, now hang on, before we go to this, which is basically a spreadsheet of how the computer software should run, for this system that I've created. For those who don't know, which would be most people, once you have a spreadsheet, converting it into software, as long as you have all the functionality and rules in place, is very easy to code, because the MySQL database and other databases are basically looked exactly the same as a spreadsheet. As long as you have the CSS, which is the language that shows you the design, and you have the formulas, and there's nothing that has to be written in, etc., etc., it's very easy to do. But first, we're going to go back. We're going to go back to 2017 and network.villasecrets. Sorry, this is my personal website, nickrayball.com, which actually has a lot of information on it. Not completely up to date because I'm not showing the newest stuff because it's an unsecured website. But let's go to network.villasecrets. 2017, there's a lot of good information here, and the best summary is actually the all chapters index here. But we're going to just go straight to part 9, the CRM-CC. Now this is what I call Technology 2. We may get to that, we may not, but Technology 2 is the TBS, Total Business Systems, and this is a component of the Total Business Systems that I call the Company Controller, or the CRM-CC. In fact, I now call it the TBS-CC, the Total Business System Company Controller. This was work from 2017. In fact, this was actually updated on 2018. There's quite a lot to it, but it basically makes it so everybody in the organization has a task to do, and those tasks can be easily swapped around depending on priorities. I found, running a company, capevillas.com, of 40 staff, that a lot of the staff weren't focused on the priorities that really mattered. In the case of capevillas.com and most villa rental companies at the top end, what matters is mandates. The clients, yeah, you've got to look after the clients, but if you don't have the properties, you don't have the properties for the clients. So the best way to serve the client is to get the best properties. This system here you're looking at here, there's qualifying assessment will be stage 4, sunset photo shoot, daylight photo shoot, add photos to web page, on-site article, publish web page, owner approval. You see, there's the whole system of how that goes through. Everything needs to be synchronized. Everybody needs to be synchronized with everybody else. There's a lot more on this page. It's not a cumbersome page. You can see I did the original design in mobile, although we're going to be looking at the system on desktop, partly because my eyesight's really bad and I just don't use the mobile as much as I should in the days of mobile. But this is 2017. This was followed by this quite adventurous UCS Hawthorne for Richard Thaler. Richard Thaler was the 2017 Nobel Prize winner for economics. Brilliant man, loved his book Nudge. Second best-selling book in behavioral psychology ever written after Surrounded by Idiots, I believe. It sold 2 million, whereas Surrounded by Idiots has currently sold 3 million. Anyway, hi Richard, if you're listening. And Mr. Erickson. Right. So the plan here was to take things up a notch, and this was an idea based on observation where if staff members are observed, they perform better. And so to let everybody in the company see and observe everybody else in this system, where we can see each is awarded points for everything they do that contributes to a win in the team, not individually. The idea would be in this scenario, from the word go, everybody to agree that half of their income, their salary plus their bonuses, is shared into a pot. That pot is then reallocated as wins at the end of the week. So the photographer can win a share of the lead salesperson's biggest sale of the year if that day they perform extremely well and win, like in this scenario Ajeli Coco has done with 26 wins. It's a handicap because he's relatively new. Look, you can read it on here. I did a alternate version for just because you need to test these things in different environments, and I did an alternate version for the UK Government Tax Collection Service, HMRC. Is it here? Oh, here's Richard Thaler. You might have seen him in The Big Short. Brilliant film, brilliant film. Okay, I can't actually find the one for the UK tax, but it's irrelevant. Look, here it is. By the way, there's no parts 11 to 25. Never got written up. They're in the book, The Villa's Secret, that, yeah, I'm not going to give you the URL for that just yet. It'll be in another video. For now, we're going to move on to what's known as the TBS, Total Business Systems. That's technology 2 of 10, the 10 technologies. So we're in the number 2, the TBS, Total Business Systems, Company Controller, as you've just seen, plus the Hawthorne effect. Now, this is the... You see it up here. T2, TBS-CC, Total Business Systems Company Controller, OKRs calendar. This is the daily calendar of it. This stuff here is personal stuff that is useful to some people but can be changed depending on the user. This for me is exactly what I eat and when I eat it, because I am very strict with my diet. I am giving up smoking thanks to OKRs. Yes, I know it's a terrible thing to do, and that's why I'm giving up. I'm down to 5 yesterday, and that's thinly rolled with a filter, so that's the equivalent of 2.5 cigarettes a day, coming down 4 months ago. We won't go into that, but there was a big reason why I could only give up after 4 months ago, of about 17 to 20. So cut down each week. The idea was each week I would count, and there's the count there, and we can see last week's count was 32. That's come down from over 100 in 4 months, and the idea is to go from 4 this week to, or 4 to 5 last week, to 4 this week, to 3, and then to give up by New Year's. That's the plan. And you can officially say that once this is achieved, or even this success so far has probably added 10 years to my life. Thank you very much, John Doerr and What Matters team. And yes, of course, it's quite a good branding thing to say OKRs saved my life. It's fine to say, yeah, Google used them and they're very successful. Microsoft used them and they're very successful. But OKRs saved my life. It's a different twinge, a different take on that very same OKR system, just adapted to the individual. So as when they're doing their company stuff, they're also doing their individual stuff at the same time, so they pay more attention to it, get to know the system better, use it as one system for them. Many marketing connotations, and believe me, this is just one of many different ways OKRs has literally helped save my life. We will go into later videos of how without OKRs something would have happened and I probably would have died within about 2 or 3 years. So literally saved my life. But that's not really what we're here to do today. I'm gonna orientate myself to the plan I made before I started this video. Okay, it's going down here in what I call the daily diary section, which only just 3 days ago I started really utilizing properly by, it's more like a Skype chat now where I time everything when I've got a new idea, and instead of writing it in the official planner above, which, you know, there's not a lot of space there, I put it down here. And you can see here is the plan for this video, which actually is going to turn into 5 separate videos because this first video is going to take quite a while and I don't want to be distracted. But let's talk about what the 5 videos in the series will be if I end up making the 5. The first is to present the OKR system. This will be the first of many videos about it. Okay. The second, present my changes to it, show previous 13-week planners to illustrate for Harley-O adjustments and last week's 7.0 adjustment as part of a legal affidavit. Okay, that's for another video. But we will go into these other sheets here because they're all part of the OKR system. Okay, number 3 is present the weekend's success and show yesterday's inquiry and show it was worth £1,200. £12,000? Yeah, £12,000. Let's have a quick look at that. Had an inquiry yesterday. We only fixed the inquiry system the day before for this villa for New Year for 12 nights, 5,210 per night. Times that by 12 for the 12 nights, and then take away the 20% commission that I would earn, and the fact that my actual costs are only £300 a month. You can see there's a lot of I really should be focusing on that, but I've written back, and to be quite honest with you, there's a lot of things I need to put in place over the following weeks before I really start getting back into answering inquiries. More to the point, I need to send these inquiries directly to the people who manage the villas. I need to make some deals with the owners of a few companies. Okay, number 4 in the series of videos is make a 13-week OKR week 9.1. We're in week 9.1 now. Last week was week 8. We can see, actually, sorry, that would be 10.1. Let's just correct that. Here is the week, this 13-week planner. Where are we? We are Actually, no, this was the 13-week planner at the beginning of planning the 13-week planner. Week 9.1 in Q4. That's the last 3 months of this year. We're going to come back to this. I don't want to get sidetracked just yet. Remake daily planners because of yesterday's events. I'm going to have to remake this week's plan because of this interruption here, which caused this negative health score of 96, minus 96, whereas I only actually did the health scores correctly in this system last week and scored 90. So all of last week's health scores were less than the negative health score of yesterday. Just a technical note. 7 stars, 7 ticks or 7 crosses is the maximum I allow. You can only have one of those every quarter per category. There are 4 major categories. Yeah, I'm not going to dwell on that because that's not why we're here. You can hear me getting a little bit angry. Yeah, you don't want to see the hidden text that was here from yesterday's diary. Text above was hidden to stop it showing on video. Right. Back, Nick. Focus, focus. Okay, present the OKR system. Well, we're looking at it. Now I'm going to switch over to directly talking to the What Matters team and John Doerr. Hi, guys. Nick Grey-Ball here. So, if you're watching this file, someone's obviously said this is worth looking at. And let's have a look in a bit more detail. I want to go to Saturday, just gone, Saturday the 3rd, because it was the highest scoring day I have ever done since I started this system in the 4th week of Q3. Let's just Q3. Yeah, so the 8th of August was when I started to implement this system. And this is the highest score I've ever had, 164. Now, that's a lot more ticks than you see. Just a tick is a point, basically. But the rule is 7 ticks, and you can only have 1 per category. Let's have a look at the different categories. Let's start with the, yeah, this is going to blow your mind, especially as you've written the book Speed and Scale. 3-year OKRs. Okay, this is the FDR 3-point napkin plan. Read both the books to work out what that is if you don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, 1, gain acceptance for the Malawi net zero DCA, that's dynamic comparative advantage, 0 to 1% of global GDP by 2080 economic model and social plan. That's for another day. Number 2, develop S-World and the T10T. That's the 10 technologies. We're now talking about the second technology, total business systems, sub system or sub algorithm set, the company controller, and inside of the company controller is this OKR system. Okay, also attached to the UCS Hawthorne system. UCS is technology 6. Essentially everything as a game, but UCS stands for Universal Colonization Simulator. Okay, and the 3rd of the 3-year objectives, and that's what OKRs stand for: objectives and key results. You plan your objectives, here they are: gain acceptance for the Malawi net zero dynamic comparative advantage, 0 to 1% of global GDP by 2080 economic model and social plan. 2, develop S-World and the T10T 10 technologies in the easiest locations that make the biggest sense, the UK and the USA. With that said, recent events have made me think the UK is probably inappropriate for this system because of the UCS Hawthorne, where hard work is very much rewarded and poor work is, you know, it's not a system for a country where unions control. I understand, John, and what matters. You guys are Democrats. I was Democratic myself for an awful long time. I've been doing an experiment in loss aversion and the media, and I've been watching a lot of Gutfeld show recently. So I am now technically, if you had to give me a polygraph, I would have to say I'm Republican. But doesn't mean my plan for net zero, etc., 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 across the world isn't valid. Just means I've got a slight political bias, and I'm pretty much balanced there. Okay, look, I'm waffling. The point is, I now think instead of the UK and the USA, unfortunately, all the time I had allocated for the UK has been eaten up by legal stuff with doctors in the UK. And to be honest with you, I've just completely lost all patience with them, and I've had to spend half of this whole quarter dealing with them, and I want to get out of this country as soon as I can. And so I'm not doing what's called UK Butterfly. Let's just orientate ourselves. AmericanButterfly.org. This is my first economics project in 2012. It looks a little bit spiritual from the front, but if you go in to the index, this is a lot of good economic information that ends up with the S-World UCS, which is now Technology 7. Sorry, this here is Technology. Sorry, S-World Virtual Social Network is Technology 5. S-World UCS is Technology 6. That's where that started, but where it got really interesting is when I mixed it with first quantum mechanics. And let's just have a quick look at this. This was the plan for the 10 technologies in 2012. You can see I was in those days better at drawing things. So this is based sort of on string theory and chaos theory and my ideas of what they were at that time. And this is basically what you would call AGI. It's not actually AGI per se, but you wouldn't tell the difference between AGI and this if you were, for instance, China looking on at this today. S-World AGI. And really, that's all this information here. The S-World algorithms, 62 algorithm sets that make up the 10 technologies. There's probably 6 million words online. I'm really not going to get into that. Let's just, for now, go back to reorientate. So here's the 3-year plan. The last of the three-year plan points was to deploy the 10 technologies in Brazil and to buy the Amazon, protect it forever whilst meaningfully compensating Brazilians. And this is to create a meaningful carbon swap option for S-World industries and services. For every good deed, there is some way I've managed to turn it into a business win. And that's just good planning, not maliciousness. Okay, so getting back to the highest score. Okay, so we are now back to the daily planner. This is the spreadsheet I use every day that navigates me to what I've got to do. I would go through today's, but unfortunately, because of yesterday, at this point, my OKRs again had to be pretty much thrown away, and I have to remake them, which will happen in a later video that we will see. So let's go through Saturday day because that was my favorite day. Um, okay, so you can see here I started at 7:10. I had a Cape Villas contact and blank page to make and a Cape Villas footer. And you can see I've given myself 2 ticks here for 2 points for the first of these 2 tasks, which we will later see goes onto this sheet. So in this sheet here and in this write-up here. This is actually the write-up. Yeah. And you can see how overjoyed I am with last week's because of moving OKRs into overdrive. There you've got the 5 health stars there because that's the first time I ever added the health stars into the calculations. And you can see the 7 ticks for the highest ever score in one category. And I just put those 4 shooting star rockets there to illustrate the point. Unfortunately, in the middle of scoring this, I had to stop because of the problem yesterday. But let's go back to, so my day is split into these different sections: 4 till 9, 9 till 11:30, 11:30 till 2, 2 till 4, 4 till 7, 7 till 9, 9 till 11, 11 till 1, 1 to 3 a.m. and then it flips back. Obviously I don't work 24 hours a day. I am not a robot, although this system has made me close to AGI. Big. You really have to understand some other stuff to get that joke. So, okay, so let's just go on to the scoring. So, yeah, up at 7:30, gave myself two points for the work on the contact page. That's the Cape Villas contact page, which was a real big mess. Let's have a look at it. But now it's, you know, it's I could do more to it. Sorry, this is most famous company I own, capevillas.com. Yeah, it's but more to the point, this website that you see, this homepage is one of quite a few I've made, and I've made them using what's known as Technology One S-Web, and it's actually, to make websites like this, it's at least 60,000 times faster than WordPress, and WordPress makes 40% of all websites. So I've got a system in T1, Technology One, that is 60, and it's just one subsystem that is 60,000 times faster than a system that makes 40% of the world's websites. So yeah, Technology One is pretty cool. All of the 10 technologies are pretty cool. But we're going to just go back to Technology 2, subsystem, company controller, subsystem, OKRs. Okay, so yeah, 2 points for that task, and then I did the CV footer, which ridiculously had people I'm now suing's names and contact details on it. I just didn't know how to change it before, or I did, but it was complicated and I need to give it a certain amount of time. But I did that successfully. Let's have a look at it. So at the bottom of actually, it's better on the bottom of the contact page. There's a slight CSS problem. Oh, sorry, here is that contact page. Now it's just simple. Here's my phone number. Here's the email. This isn't me. This isn't my girlfriend. Here's the footer. And you can see, here's my contacts now. And if anyone's interested in booking a villa under $5,000 a night, this is the number to choose. It is a direct number to somebody who used to be a competitor, but right now they're the best people to speak to for a villa in Cape Town that is under $7,500 a night. Okay. So yeah, I'm just showing you that to show you why, finally, having changed the names of my competitors, or not only my competitors, my ex-staff who I trained up and who are now, anyway, it's a long legal fight that's about to begin. Getting one of their names off of that footer and putting my details on there too was definitely a 4 points win. You know, it was a significant win. My general rule is One tick, well, it used to be before I divided them. So one tick is sort of you've done it, but not amazingly, or you it was just something very quick to be done, and you did it in less than 5 minutes. Two ticks is yeah, you done it. Three ticks, you done it well. Four ticks, yeah, you should really be proud of that. Five ticks is pretty damn special. Six ticks is close to pretty much, a really fantastic result. And seven ticks is the highest score, and you're only allowed to give it once in a quarter per category, and there are four categories. So you can see here, this seven ticks here was awarded, and there will be no other seven ticks in the entire quarter. So pretty spectacular result, but it was not representative of the achievement. And this achievement was for testing all the forms. Yeah, the contact forms that didn't even work in most cases. And now they're all working. And suddenly, as you can see, yesterday I got an inquiry that would have been worth £12,000 if I could convert it, which I could, but this video is actually more important to me. So I've written to the guy, and if he comes back, good, we'll speak. Um, so yeah, this is a sort of introduction. I'm not going over some of the basics, but here we can see, because it's such a rare thing, getting the seven ticks only once per quarter per category, and there's only four categories, I gave 100 points bonus for achieving that seven ticks. And if I do something better next weekend or next month, I pretty much only do coding at the weekends, um, then I would have to take that seven ticks and change it to a 6.5 ticks, and change this 100 to a 50, and go back and change all the other ones, which is a complex thing to do on a spreadsheet, but would be a part of a rule of the algorithm that would do it automatically. Um, and yeah, so seven ticks gets 100 is the rule, and then literally this rule was made up 5 days ago. Seven ticks, I've been given seven ticks for a while, but the only actual rule on scoring was made a few days ago. Seven ticks is 100 points, 6.5 ticks is 50 points, six ticks is 25 points, and then 12 and a half, and then 12 and a half for anything over five. So five and a half. Yeah, you see, it's a work in progress, but you can see it's quite a precise work in progress. So yeah, that was the first part of the shift. 9 till 11, I ate a fruit salad. You can see there, I gave myself 3 health ticks, because that fruit salad's got a load of vitamins. It's very good for me. It's well worth my time making it. Pineapple, I diced a pineapple, fresh pineapple, of course. There's some melons, some grapes, some nuts, some raisins, a banana, that sort of thing. Okay, so I did that, and then I prepared for my absolute hero who helps me. I'm not going to actually dwell on this. Anyway, next, continued that preparation. That was 3 ticks. Had a little idea for the legal battle. I scored it as 3 ticks, so that must have been a very good idea that I wrote down on a document. I needed to delete a backup on the server, because if I don't, the next auto backup won't work. And then I needed to adapt to inquiry plus mobile bug. Mobile bug? What? Adapt to inquiry plus mobile bug. I would actually have to go down the day's record here. You can see this is the day I really started using this diary correctly, time stamping all the ideas so as I can go over it, and it was also very, very, very useful. See, I'm a little bit of a a fan of caffeine at the moment. For anybody who's reading this, 50 milligrams of caffeine might sound extreme. That's basically 1 1/3 cups of coffee. I don't drink coffee. I used to drink a lot of Diet Coke and then Diet Pepsi, because Diet Coke in South Africa, Cape Town, South Africa, where I lived for 10 years, um, it tastes different, and the closest thing in England is Diet Pepsi. But anyway, I used to consume a lot of that. Don't anymore because it's not good for you. So I've replaced it with caffeine pills, in this case 50 milligrams of Pro Plus. If you wonder why I'm talking very fast, it's not only because I've only got an hour to do this, or allocated an hour, it's also because of the caffeine. Okay, so let's go back to the scoring. So I think we've got the idea now. Okay, so as the day goes through, I score it at the bottom. This is the score from the tasks done. Below it, in new, this week was the first time I did it, is the amount of health stars. And see, only 3 health stars that day, 5 the day before, minus 35 the day before that because I slipped down the stairs. Yeah, I got a very bad back at the moment. 20 health stars the day before that because I must have done an awful lot. Oh yes, I got a referral about my back. Ironically, the -7 health stars from yesterday was the physio, who was very young and inexperienced, telling me that I didn't have a problem. And believe me, I'm very I'm very sure I do. Anyway, not to dwell. I think you're getting the idea. Um, so yeah, an important thing is mixing the personal things that are important to me, the health stars. Um, Here's my daily calories. Exactly what I mean. There was a little, I ate to a little bit too much then. And below is the diary mode. It's relatively simple. So at the end of the week, usually this would be tallied up here. This is the next week's tasks as set out at the beginning of the week. And that's because it generally changes throughout the week. As I get more into next quarter, I've designed, sorry, where are we going to see that? These are, I'm looking for, can't find it. Okay, I can't find next quarter's one, but in general, I'm grouping things a lot better. So I'm giving myself 3 weeks on one major task, and then 2 weeks on another major task, and then 3 weeks on another major task. And at the end of those 8 weeks, I then will plan the last 5 weeks of the first quarter. Whereas I've really been playing catch up this whole quarter, and it was completely disrupted by this appointment here and a following what's known as a discharge that is in essence a conspiracy to pervert the course of justice, which is 7 years in jail for the guy and his accomplices. But I'm not going to get into that. But anyway, that really swayed me off, and the plans had to adapt. And each time the health people do things that really mess me around, I have to change everything, and it's very disruptive. So next quarter, I'm, instead of having these, let's see, where are we? Let's go to the week we're in. This was as made at the beginning of last week. Where are we? Yeah, here we are. You see, there's quite a lot of different stuff. There's the website, nickgrayball.com. Then there's the website I'm going to use to showcase the 10 technologies. There's documents and videos for whatmatters.com, this very video. Um, Twitter ads video. It doesn't work properly in the UK. I thought it might be useful for Elon Musk and Twitter guys to realize that their advertising platform simply doesn't work on Windows 10. Chances are, although this will sound odd, chances are it was designed by someone on an Apple Mac and they never bothered testing it on Windows 10 properly. I've done it on 2 different operating systems, so it's not my problem. There is a definitive problem, and when you can't pay to advertise on a platform, they're obviously losing the only revenue they get. So it's something they really should fix. As you can see, these minor tasks as well. And there's a lot of things going on, and that is just disruptive, especially when something goes wrong. So next quarter, I'm changing it to really focus on 3-week blocks on a single thing, a single. Um, let's mm, yeah, let's look at what we. Yeah, these are the 4 major objectives for this quarter, for example. Create presentation items and contact contacts. This video is a part of that. Kate Villas et al. Business and Oliver lawsuit. That should now be Condon Heber lawsuit. S-Web coding, CDN, system, IT admin, and infrastructure. Infra is sort of AI infrastructure. OKRs maintenance, software and system development, which this video is about. So let's we've looked at this page as much as I think we need to for now. This is just a list of 10 objectives I want to cover over the next 2 weeks, and these are minor objectives. The point scores go in there, and we've seen this sheet already, although this is this week's. We're going to go now to, we've seen that, exactly where we were. This was last quarter's, and we're going to move to this quarter's, exactly where we were. Okay, so this scoring system is, if you know OKRs, you should understand it. The red is basically the Google way they do it is to score things 0.1 to, I believe, 1.0. Correct me if I'm wrong, somebody. So 0.1 would be red. 0.2 to 0.3 would be yellow. 0.4 to 0. Sorry. Yeah, yeah, the green is actually up to 0.9 on the Google scale. So sorry, red would be 0 to 0.3, yellow would be 0.4 to 0.6, green would be 0.7 to 0.9, and pink is for hitting a 10. And you can see that I've done pretty well. And if we look at last month's, it obviously got a lot better here. You can see that there's a load of pink going on suddenly. And you can see one of the major 3 objectives for last quarter was just red, 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 red. There was just nothing going on. This was a problem with our content distribution network that was being retired, and we had to swap it over to a different system that we actually use the same company. And that was quite a lot of work, and I didn't understand it at all and had to learn all sorts of stuff just to understand it. And we were getting nowhere. Red, 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 red. Then I started getting to my act together in week 7, and then did very well in week 12. In fact, week 12 was so good that I had to rescore all of this and lower everything. These greens were pinks, The oranges were greens and the reds were probably oranges. But this week was so good that all the previous weeks had to be rescored down just to make these scores actually fit in. Then I moved to this quarter and changed the scoring system to what we see here. Red is 0 to 10. Yeah, I've told you what these scores basically are. And you can see the general rule John Doerr says about OKRs is, if you're not hitting any reds and you're hitting all greens, you're not doing it properly. You're simply not setting yourself hard enough objectives. And yeah, you can see, look, there's a fair. This is where that massive problem happened. The what I call the max CDM problem, which basically meant all of our websites that on S-Web, 20 websites, including the one we just saw, Kate Villas, that as we saw, actually we haven't seen inbox. Here's the inquiry. Yeah, that came in just yesterday. That's worth £12,000. That's $18,000 for just one inquiry. So it's not insignificant. And that website, along with all of the others in the series, there's 20 of them that demonstrate S-Web, various different ones, not going to get into it now. And they were all going down in January because the system went down in January. I had to understand the system. I had to work and really work with Vinny Bond. And from red, little bit of hope, good week's work, to another good week's work, green's still good, pink's just excellent, okay, good, okay. These 2 weeks are what's known as the week the OKRs went to die because of the legal matter with a doctor. Not going to get into it. And then pull myself together, thanks to my OKRs, and hit 2 pinks. And this 70 that you see there was a 7-star score, 7-tick score, only 1 allowed per quarter. That's when the problem was fixed. We did more work on it to make it better, but the problem was solved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks before all the websites were going to go down. And as you can see, just one inquiry from one website yesterday was worth $12,000. If only I had the time to deal with it. Crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy. So let's just go to the right here. This is important. And this really has been written for the What Matters guys to read through. You don't really have to read through anything other than these. This is what's called the Key Results Weekly Scores. And in this develops the story of the improvements of the system. Summarized generally, quite, not too much text heavy. At the top, note, look, I'm dyslexic, basically. I've never been diagnosed dyslexic, but I am the worst speller in England. And on the spreadsheet, they don't have Grammarly, and it's not that good. So this text, it's going to have errors in it. Yeah. This sheet actually deserves a video to itself, so I'm actually going to go over it relatively quickly, but you can see it developing as I start adding the scores, start copying in. This was an important part from the spreadsheet because it was taking an age to score it. So I just copy that in, copy paste. We'll have to work out a way to do that in the software. Copy that in, delete the irrelevant stuff, add the score there. At the bottom, add it up. That automatically gets added to there, added to the beginning. So it's becoming more and closer to automatic. That was week 3. Week 4 was interesting because I started what's called a triple word score, which actually ended up being a 6. I'd actually I'd have to read it because there's a specific word for a 6-word score, which meant that what I was working on actually scored in all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different objectives. Um, so that was an interesting thing, and it sort of flipped the way I planned in future, and we'll see more of this in next quarter. Unfortunately, um, okay, here we go. Week 6. The week OKRs went to die. Jeepers, that was a bad, bad, bad week, which will be covered in a legal affidavit that goes along with this series. The week afterwards, if I didn't have OKRs, may it not have only been, yeah, it was a really, really bad, bad, bad week. I had to spend the entire week dealing with a stupid conspiracy to pervert the course of justice by a guy who mistreated me so badly that there is no there are at least 5 charges that would be life in prison if I could only get the police to investigate him. Okay. Anyway, pulled myself together. The return of the OKRs the following week. The first major key results victory with 6 weeks to spare. That was when we completed the max CDM threat problem. And oh God, was that a weight off my mind, because up until that point, I didn't have the technique, I didn't have the expertise to complete the task on my own, and everything was going to be lost at the end of the year. Not everything, but all of the S-Web Technology One websites. Okay, week 8, Return of the OKRs, part 2. This always a special week for me, the week of the 24th. You'll notice each year, the week of the 24th, I release a significant update to S-World. S-World is the name of the system. S-World AGI is actually now the name of the system. S-World stands for Sienna's World. Sienna is my daughter, my angel daughter. And yeah, S-World is a kind of tribute, as is better explained in American Butterfly, book 1, The Theory of Every Business, chapter 7, S-World. And you can see a little anagram we made. And no, it's not an anagram, is it, at all? Whatever it is. Super intelligent engine for new network access. Yeah, go through this in your own time. Okay, I have to wrap up in 5 minutes. So we're going to move to this week. This is this week's, and sorry, this is last week's, and you can see there the rapturous header with the 5 health stars, and that was because I started to score the health points here separately. And as I said, in getting staff to use this, personnel to use this, by mixing it, and obviously this would have to be made into a mobile app and made a lot simpler per the original, where is it, 2017 design, the company controller. You know, the staff just get what they have to do. This is more the corporate side of organizing what everybody does, specifically here. Yeah, this is sort of CEO setting the tasks that have to be done. And by combining the health scores not only has that helped me, in this case, to give up smoking and a lot of other things, and literally OKR saving my life, which is great branding, of course. Um, yeah, if personnel can get the benefits that I've got from this OKR system, they're going to start loving the system. And as you know, when people love things, they it becomes a pleasure. Work becomes a pleasure. That's why I work so freaking hard because with this system, it's just so rewarding. I mean, yesterday, even despite being told I'm working too hard, I had to do 15 hours, 40 minutes. Last week was 93 hours, 312 points. Yeah, only 27 health points because of that fall idiot that I am. Well, you know what? If my hip and back didn't hurt so much, I wouldn't have fallen. So, uh, yeah. Where is it? Yeah, 100 hours the week before. That's actually only the second time I've ever done more than 100 hours. Um, it's just this OKR system turns work into a game, starts becoming so enjoyable that everything else is completely irrelevant. Yeah, you can use that in the branding as well. So we're going to come back to this another time and start to explore the 13-week planner and other features and have a look, and I'll go through the different 13-week planner updates that I've made so far this quarter for the 13 weeks, and we're going to look at next month's as well. Just to navigate back to that original plan, where are we? Here is, yeah, new record, low smoking there. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. And we'll see how well I do. Note the reds are unscheduled smokes. They don't happen often, only when catastrophes happen. Yeah, this morning started at 5:35 in the morning. It's probably going to be another 15-hour day. And as I said to the girl that said, you got to stop working so hard, yesterday, I said, by not doing your job, well, that's what I should have said, you're going to actually put another 20 hours onto my working week. And literally, I've spent 20 hours since having that conversation just having to go through a load of physiotherapy stuff just to make sure that I was absolutely right, that she was a little bit inexperienced, didn't know what the hell she was talking about. In so much as, one example, I said I'm using ibuprofen because it seems to be a lot better than paracetamol, and she said she's not qualified to give advice on that. And if you, in England, we have what's called the National Health Service, that is her employer. And if we go here, we can see this was the first thing in the Google search on her employer's website: causes of back pain, how to ease it. Take anti-inflammatory medicine like ibuprofen. Paracetamol on its own is not recommended. That's the first question I asked, and she said she wasn't qualified to answer that. So how she's qualified to know whether there's a lot of people in England try things on, and I'm quite open, so I think she confused me with, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I don't want to end on a negative. So let's just go through the 5 other videos. This is one. Present the OKR system. This will be the first of many videos about it. I think I've done okay. I'm going to give this, I think I'm going to give myself 4 ticks for this video, and we'll come back to that maybe next time. So next I want to present my changes to it. So yeah, I'm going to have to change this whole week because of this I didn't do, and this has all changed because of the 20 extra hours I had to do to do research about whether the physio was correct or not and find out that yes, as I thought she wasn't. But anyway, present my changes, show the previous 13-week planners to illustrate for Harleo adjustments and last week's 7-0 adjustment as part of legal affidavit. Yeah, we're going to do that. Present weekend success and show yesterday's inquiry and show it was worth £12,000. I've actually done that, so good. Actually, you know what? This has now become a 5-tick video because it included that. Make a new 13-week OKRs, week 10.1 for week 10, and explain the remix. And 5, remake daily planners because of yesterday's events. That's all. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that is all. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm just gonna close the video on not that. Yeah, the S-World algorithms. Okay, so what matters team? John Doerr. And I'm gonna have to say hi also to my Republican friends at Founders Fund, particularly Leigh Marie Braswell. Hi there. I really hope you're going to be the girl who knows more AI than me. Well, obviously you know more AI than me. Traditional AI, that is, ML and infra. Yeah, look, hi to everybody in the USA. Um, I've in the next video, we're going to see that I am taking away the 2 weeks that I had dedicated to UK butterfly, which is which would have been pretty fantastic for the UK, because I've got to deal with legal matters which have been pushed forward because of actually yesterday's problem. Um, and yeah, my plan is no longer to have a small country like the UK trial and a version of S-World AGI, that's the full 10 technologies together, combinatorially. Sorry, the 10th technology is the combinatorial explosion of the 9 previous ones. See my LinkedIn, Nick Graybull / whatever it is, nickgraybull.com contact. You'll get all my contacts there. Let's just look at that. nickgraybull.com, contact us for ways to contact me. There's my LinkedIn. On the LinkedIn, you will find the most recent updates on S-World AGI. And actually, this is a good place to leave it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave you right here. Bye, everybody. Have a great day. Oh, by the way, yeah, the new plan is on the 1st of January 2023, exactly 11 years to the date I started American Butterfly 2012. I'm starting American Butterfly 2023, but it's going to be called AGI for the USA. Was to be called AGI for the UK, but sorry, UK, they Dr. Fajalio and the other doctors you've blown your chance. I'm out of here, first opportunity I get, and I will never come back. Okay. Hi, America. Oh, yeah, the idea is Florida will be a better test zone than England, because in Florida, everybody is Republican and they're very into hard work, which works better for technology, TBS, and the UCS Hawthorne idea, which really does drive the financial motive behind these OKRs and the TBS-CC, which really is an essential part of S-World AGI. Okay, let's just leave you on that. Where's it gone? Where's it gone? Where's it gone? Yeah, we're going to leave you there. Okay, bye everybody. God bless.